Welcome to Poseidwn Tech. In the previous video, we tested Shelly 4 PM Pro and we configured it to work with some simple switches. Today, it's time to add some new devices, and more specific, Shelly Button 1 and Shelly Motion. So first, let's unbox the devices. Inside the box of Shelly Button, we can find a user guide, and the actual button. This is the Shelly Button 1. Here is a hinge in order to use a cord. Here is the cover for the USB. Here you can charge the button. And from this side you can remove the cap, which reveals the battery, an O-ring, and under the battery there is the reset button. Here it is. When you press the button, the LED is triggered. Let's leave it aside for the moment. Time to unbox the Shelly Motion, a Wi-Fi motion sensor. Nothing special in the box, just a QR code to download the app. Inside the box we can find a user guide, the actual motion sensor, this is the mounting bracket, and the other part of the mounting bracket in order to mount it in the wall. Also some additional screws and a small pin, which we can use it in order to reset the device. In order to reset the device, you need to insert the pin in this small hole. In order to mount the motion sensor on the wall, you need to insert this part of the bracket and insert it like this. So now it's ready to be mounted in the wall. In order to remove this, first remove the first part, and then using a screwdriver, remove the second part. That's it. So these are the two devices we'll use today. Button, after some seconds, will turn to sleep mode. In order to avoid this, we need to connect this to a charger. For this purpose, we'll use a power bank. Now that everything is ready, it's time to connect our device to the mobile application and start the configuration process. In order to do so, we need to follow the similar procedure we follow for all Shelly devices. Before we use the Shelly application, we need to be sure that we are connected to the wireless network generated by the Shelly device. In this case, we need to connect to Wi-Fi network with SSID Shelly Button 1 and some additional numbers. Once we do so, we need to navigate to IP address 192.168.33.1. Here, under the Wi-Fi mode, client, we need to configure the SSID and the wireless network that we want Shelly device to be connected to. Now that our device is connected to our preferred wireless network, it's time to add it to the application. So go back to the application, select Discover Devices, and button appear here. Just select it, provide a name, select a room, image, and press Done. That's it. Now our device is successfully configured. Now it's time to do exactly the same procedure for the Shelly Motion. Connect to the SSID generated by the Shelly Motion Sensor. Navigate to the same IP address 192.168.33.1. Configure Wi-Fi mode client. Provide SSID and password. And now we are ready to go back to the Shelly application. Under the Discover Devices, the motion sensor appear. Select Add Devices, provide the name, select a room, icon, and press Done. That's it, we are ready. If we select the device, under Settings and Device Info, we can see the IP address that has been assigned to this device. In this case is 172.16.177. Same applies for the button. Under Settings and Device Info, we can see the IP address, which in this case is 172.16.113. Now it's time to go to Shelly Cloud. Open the browser and navigate to my.shelly.cloud. As you can see, we get an indication that a new web version is available. Click Yes to check it. And now we have been redirected to home.shelly.cloud. Let's go also to my.shelly.cloud to compare the two versions. My.shelly.cloud is the old one and home.shelly.cloud is the new one. As you can see, we have some difference here. Also on the devices under Room. Okay, I have to admit that I like better the newer one. The new version looks more modern. Also, we have more accurate icons for the devices. Also from the cloud, we can find the IP address that has been assigned to the device. Just copy this and open the browser, and here we can see the settings for the button. Same applies for the motion sensor. Under Device Info, we can get the local IP address, which we will open as well. Also from the Shelly Cloud, we can go through the device settings. This applies for both button and Shelly Motion Sensor. Similar devices also from the web interface using the local IP address for each device. Here are the known settings, as we have seen in most of the devices. Also the actions for the button. As you can see, we have short press URL, long press, double short and triple short press. so we can configure 4 actions for one button. Under Settings, we have the known configuration options for the most of the Shelly devices. We have also the Remain Awake since this device is battery powered. Now in the motion sensor, we have some additional options. We have a countdown since the last time a motion has been detected, an indication for a tamper, the battery status, brightness, if the device is active, and if the device is in dark. Under sensor control, we have some settings regarding the sensor. Here is the definition for illumination, so device knows if it is dark or bright, sensitivity, blind time, and several other settings. Under Weekly Schedule, we can configure a schedule timer. So we add some periods that we want this device to be enabled. Under Internet Security, the known settings for connectivity. And under Actions, several options in order to trigger an action. If a motion is detected, in dark, in twin light, in bright, if a tamper is detected, and many others. Under the settings, also some known settings here. About the LED control, firmware update, and several other options. Now it's time to configure some actions. In order to do so, we need to go to shelly.cloud, knowledge base, and under Developer, API, search for REST API. Here we can go to Gen 1 API, and search for our device, in our case Shelly 4 Pro. Here, under the documentation chapter Relay, we can find how we can trigger a relay on-off. It's the simplest action we can configure. First we need to find the IP address. And based on the documentation, we need to type the IP address /relay / the index of relay and the parameter turn equal to on. And as you can see, we get a response and our relay has been turned on. Same applies for off. It cannot be easier than that. Now it's time to configure this parameter in the short press of our button, enable this action, paste the command and press save. That's it. So when we press the button once, it will turn the relay on. And if we long press the button, it will turn the relay off. That's it. Now our button is configured. It can control relay with index 0 in the Shelly Pro PM4. Now it's time to configure an action in the motion sensor. Under the tamper, we'll turn relay with index 1 on if a tamper is detected, and when a tamper ends, it will turn the same relay to off. Press save, and we are ready. Now, from the Shelly Cloud, we can confirm that all the actions we have configured has been successfully downloaded to the devices. And as you can see here, this is the case. Here are the actions for the motion sensor and also for the button. Perfect. Now we are ready to test it. We don't need anymore the power for the button. Okay, with a short press we have one relay open in Shelly Pro, and with long press it turns it off. Same applies for the motion sensor. It opens one relay and after some seconds it automatically closes. It works exactly as it is expected. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please press like and consider subscribe to our channel. See you on the next video.